start with the great name of Allah, who is the kind and most merciful. Here, this is me, Aaqib Shaikh, student of Business Administration from Sindh campus, Larkana, and here I am going to present a presentation on subject decision theory and analysis, and it is observed by Sir Ayaz Ali Methlu. My first topic is heuristic processing. Perhaps the most important generalization to come out the effect study information processing is that an individual is a limited information processing system. Newling and Simons 1972 is particular the active processing of information occur in the memory of limited capacity, duration and ability to place information in more permanent storage. As a result, people appears to utilize heuristic that serve to keep the information processing demand of the task within the bound of their limited cognitive capacity. Therefore, the restriction on search is based on evolution of the structure of the problem. The same restriction on search which increase the efficiency may at times result in individual ignoring or missing information achieving a solution to a problem. Now, the decision making under risk. Research on how people chose among alternative gambles provide additional evidence that individuals tend to use heuristic process. The use of heuristic is the risky decision making especially interesting since there exists a rather straightforward computational algorithm which guarantee an optimal solution. Risky decision behavior is also highly relevant to consumer choice behavior. Therefore, both individual decision about multi-dimensional alternative. In addition, there is a substantial literature relating perceived risk to consumer behavior in the typically risk decision making task and individual is faced with two alternative gambles. Now, the consumer decision behavior. The processing of information by consumer has recently received increased attention. One finding of this research is that the amount of information sought is typically small relative to the amount of information available. Jacobs 1975, hence 1974 has advanced a principle of information parsimony. The idea is that consumers seek to process as little data as necessary in order to make rational decision. Therefore, this principle seems internally consistent with result obtained in other area of cognitive physiology, although the work suggests that the relational be replaced by the term satisfactory. Now, the contingent decision making. Research on problem solving has shown individual behavior to be highly adaptive to the demand of the task. This suggests that the information processing procedure used by decision maker might be semantically related to certain characteristics of decision situation. Therefore, the study discussed below used two process training techniques, one explain information search and second verbal protocol to make their effect of two variation the completely of a decision task. The internal install reactor to refers to players is a complete report on this study. Now, my second topic is probability. Probability is a branch of mathematics concerning numerical description of how likely an event is to occur or how likely is it that a proportion is true. The probability of an event is a number between 0 and 1, where roughly speaking 0 indicates impossibility of the event and 1 indicates certainty. Therefore, a simple example in the tossing of a fair unbased coin, since the coin is fair, the two outcomes head or tail are both equally portable, and probability of head equals the probability of tail, and since no other outcome are possible. Now, the interpretation. When dealing with experiments that are random and well defined in a purely theoretical setting like tossing a fair coin, probability can be numerically described by the number of desired outcome divided by the total number of outcome. For example, tossing a fair coin twice will yield head, 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 tail, tail, head, and tail, tail outcomes. Therefore, the probability of getting an outcome of head and head is 1 out of 4 outcomes, or in numerical term 1/4, 0.25 or 25%. However, when it comes to practical application, there are two major competition category of probability interpretation and the two major competition category or objective and subjectives. Now, the history. The scientific study of probability is a modern development of mathematics gambling show that there has been an interest in quantifying the idea of probability for millennia, but exist mathematical description arose much later. There are reasons for the slow development of the mathematics of probability. Therefore, game of chances provided the impact for the mathematical study of probability are still obscured by the suspicion of the gambler. Before the middle of the 17th century, the term probable means approvable. Now, the mathematical treatment. Considered an experiment that can produce a number of results. The collection of all possible results is called the sample space of the experiment. The power set of the sample space is formed by considering all different collections of possible results. For example, rolling a die can produce 6 possible results. One collection of possible results give an odd number in the dice. Thus, the subject 1, 3, 5 is an element of the power set of the sample space of dice roll. These collections are called event. Now, the theory. Like other theories, the theory of probability is a representation of its concept in formal terms, that is, in terms that can be considered separately from their meaning. These formal terms are manipulated by the rule of mathematics and logic, and any result are interpreted or translated back into the problem domain. There are other methods for quantifying uncertainties such as Dembster, Shader's theory, or possibility theory. Now, my third topic is decision making under uncertainty. A condition of certainty exists when the decision maker knows with reasonable certainty what the alternative or what condition are associated with each alternative and the outcome of each alternative. Therefore, the outcome of each alternative under condition of certainly accurate, memorizable, and reliable information on which the best decision is available, the cause and the efforts relationship are known, and the failure is highly predictable under condition. Now, decision making under risk. When a manager lacks perfect information or whenever an information asymmetry exists, risk arises. Under a state of risk, the decision maker has incomplete information about available alternative but has a good idea of a probability of outcome for each alternative. While making decision under a state of risk, manager must determine the probability associated with each alternative on the basis of the available information and his experience. The most important among these are: number first, risk analysis; number second, decision trees; and number third, preference theory. Number one, risk analysis. Manager who follow this approach analyze the size and nature of the risk involved in choosing a particular course of action. For instance, while launching a new product, a manager has to carefully analyze each of the following variables: the cost of launching the product, its production cost, the capital investment required. Therefore, risk analysis involve quantitative and qualitative risk assessment, risk management, and risk communication, and provide manager with a better understanding of the risk and the benefit associated with a proposal course of action. Now, number second, decision tree. There are considered to be one of the best way to analyze a decision. A decision tree approach involves a graphic representation of alternative course of action and the possible outcome and risk associated with each action. Therefore, by means of a tree depicting the decision point, change, event, and probabilities involved in the various course of action, these techniques of decision making allow the decision maker to trace the optimum path or course of action. Number three, preference or utility theory. This is another approach to decision making under condition of uncertainty. This approach is based on the notions that individual attitude towards risk vary. Some individuals are willing to take one smaller risk averters, while others are willing to take greater risk gamblers. Therefore, statistical probability associated with the various course of action are based on the assumption the decision maker will follow them. If there were 60% chance of a decision being right, it might seem reasonable that a person would take a risk. Thanks for watching my video.